right, good morning, everybody. Good morning, profitable traders. How are you today? Please let me know if you can hear me in the chat box so we can proceed with today's analysis. Can you all hear me? Let me know if you can hear me in the chat box quickly. All right, so welcome to another TDA session, another market color session done by Value Flow Trading, our prestigious firm, and powered by our preferred broker, Okta, right? Okay, before we dive into today's analysis properly, I'd like for us all to please take out 30 seconds to invite a few traders that we know who will benefit from this session. So kindly send the flyer to people who are going to definitely benefit from this so that they can also partake in this value that is being dropped here. I'm going to believe and trust in your word that you're already doing that. So I'm just going to carry on my analysis, believing that you're already sending the flyers out, okay? All right, so as usual, I analyze commodity currency pairs, AUD USD, USD CAD, and NZD USD, right? And I'm going to be starting with the AUD USD. Now, as usual, we always want to start from our weekly time frame to see the trend of the market, right? And on the weekly time frame of AUD USD, we see clear bearishness to the downside. It's clear, lower lows, lower highs consecutively being formed. The same thing here, a retest into a premium level, and it's continuing to sell to the downside. On the daily time frame, for those of us, sorry about that. For those of us who have been following our market color sessions religiously, you would recognize the block strategy pattern, right? And as of last week, we already ran through this analysis. We said shoulder, quick sweep down, grab of liquidity to the upside, another grab down that takes out our point B, which happens to be this level, a move back into the shoulder, and then a drop. So we saw this AUD USD sell from last week, and some of us might already be writing it down, right? So we're still very much bearish on AUD USD. The same thing on the 4-hour time frame. It's even more clear on the 4-hour time frame. This guy is going to keep selling till I'm going to draw out a point of interest where I presume AUD USD is going to reverse from to start to buy. So I apologize for that. I couldn't see my screen. So sorry about that. I'm going to fix that now and start all over. Okay, can you see my screen now? You still can't see my screen? All right. Okay, I sincerely apologize for that. I wasn't seeing your chat coming in. I would have noticed earlier on. Okay, I'm just going to start off from the weekly time frame so everybody is carried along, okay? On the weekly time frame of AUD USD, right? What do we see? We see consecutive structures being formed to the downside, which is basically telling us that AUD USD is a clear sell, right? For those of us who have been following our market color sessions religiously, you know the box strategy already, which is what we analyzed as at last week. The shoulder was formed here, a quick sweep down, break of grab of liquidity to the upside, right? Another sweep down that came back down to clear our point B, and then a retest back into the shoulder and a drop. So a lot of people have been following this AUD USD sell from the points where we suspected the sell was going to happen to now. This guy has done over 90 pips, I believe, over 100 pips actually, right? So on the 4-hour time frame now, structures are still being formed to the downside, but still very much bearish on AUD USD. Now, where do I think AUD USD is going to sell into? Look at this fair value gap which we have right here, below it. I believe you can all see it. There's a fair value gap here, which I believe AUD USD is going to trade into and start to buy, right? And because of this fair value gap is why I now have a buy bias on the 1-hour time frame following strictly market structure. On the 1 hour time frame now, I'm going to zoom out so you clearly see it. Or let's use 2 hour time frame to be clearer there. Okay. Now on the 2 hour time frame, I'm going to mark out levels that I expect AUD/USD to start to buy from. And you see that it also coincides with the fair value gap which we marked on the daily time frame. So we have here, going to mark out here as well, right? So I expect AUD/USD to trade all the way into this, trade into our other block which we have here to have a more specific entry. So it's going to come back in here, take out this level, trade into our other block which is right here. For those of us who follow me on social media, you'd see that already I posted this markup yesterday for people to see and those who are interested to take as well. So this is where I expect AUD/USD to trade into. I'm just going to mark out that so you see it as well. This is a free signal that has just been given. You can choose to take advantage of it if you want, or take it out on a demo account to see how it plays out, right? And our SL is just going to be right below this protected low. Let me go to the 4 hour time frame so I can properly adjust it. Just going to drag our SL just a bit below, use like 24 pips. If you want to give it more room to run, you can just drag your SL to be 30 pips on the dot and allow this guy play out. So these are buyers for AUD/USD. The trends are still to the downside. We're seeing a fair value gap on the daily time frame, which we expect price to trade into, and then we're seeing entries on the 2 hour time frame where we expect AUD/USD to start to buy based off the daily fair value gap. I believe we're together so far. Right, now with that being said, we're going to go down to NZD/USD. Going to go down to NZD/USD. As usual, start from the weekly time frame. What do we see here, guys? Structure is to the downside. On the daily time frame, what do we see? Structure is still to the downside. Where is the probable area where NZD/USD is going to trade into? There's also a fair value gap right here, which could serve as a point of interest for NZD/USD to trade into, right? Okay. But price actually already tapped into this. Price already tapped into this fair value gap. We see it from here. It traded into it and then it started to buy. But we're going to draw it still to see if NZD/USD trades into that fair value gap, respects it, and also buys in correlation with its brother, the AUD/USD. I know a lot of us know that NZD and AUD move very similar to each other. On the 4 hour time frame, what do we see? Clear structures to the downside. Now let's see 2 hour time frame. We're going to see some sort of buy entry for NZD/USD as well. Are we seeing anything that suggests a buy could happen here? Now we see some sort of formation, but it's not as clear as I'd prefer. Remember on the AUD/USD pair, which we just analyzed, we saw a clear sweep, saw price from the point B, break structure to the downside, right? Which this also did and bought. So it seems to be doing the same thing here right now. Let me see if I can find an order block. Right here, there is another block. And price is already into that other block. Right? So price is already taking out our point B, that's traded into the other block on NZD/USD. So you could decide to take this NZD/USD trade now, or take it out on the demo account to see how it plays out. All depends on you, right? And that's pretty much it for NZD/USD as well. So the next guy we're looking at today is USD CAD. So on the weekly time frame of USD CAD, what do we see? Now, if you look at all the movements this guy has been doing, it seems to be in some sort of range because it has formed equal highs and equal lows. But if you're following market structure latest swing, what do we see? This is clearly bearish, right? The price being at a premium level for USD CAD probably starts selling to the downside. On the daily time frame, we see consecutive structures being formed to the upside, right? Now, what do I think is going to happen on USD CAD? Two things. I think USD CAD is going to trade above and break this resistance level, which has sent it down, I think, a few times actually. You see all of this move here that happened before it eventually went down. But we're looking at USD CAD trading all the way above to break through this level. And where's the next point of interest for USD CAD? All the way right here. On the 4-hour time frame, you see a bunch of liquidity that USD CAD has to grab. Now, if you look at this, I already marked the fair value gap. Now, why did I mark this fair value gap? I was thinking, okay, there's a fair value gap which could send USD CAD to the downside. But if it doesn't, it's going to trade above, clear out all of this liquidity, and trade into our point of interest, which is this line you see marked from the daily time frame. Now, USD CAD has broken above the fair value gap. Where's the next point it is going to? It is coming to take out this liquidity. There's a bunch of sellers here, a bunch of stop losses for those who have been riding this trend to the downside. So USD CAD is most likely going to buy all the way, take out all of this, trade into this level. It's either it taps that level and starts to sell, or it breaks above it and just continues the buy trend. On the 2-hour time frame, pretty much the same thing actually. So let's see if we're going to see some sort of entry for this guy. Are we seeing some sort of entry here? Not really. So there's not much of an entry here for USD CAD at the moment, where you can keep watching it to see what price does. Now, we have numerous ways which we enter the market, but we always advise to stick to one. Now, based off all of the methods which we enter the market through, there's a base formation that has happened here. A base has been formed here. So you see our base formation right here. So we just go to 5-minute time frame to look for our variation pattern to buy USD CAD. Since we're not seeing entries using the pure market structure, which we know, and the box strategy, you could decide to do this, but again, it is advisable you stick to one entry pattern. But because we have different strategies which we teach on the floor, this is one way you could enter the market through. So a base has been formed, the continuation pattern has been formed as well. On the 5-minute time frame, what do we see? We're going to check for variation patterns. Now, are there any variation patterns that have been formed here? This guy is some sort of variation pattern, but it's not as neat as I prefer. So let's check the 3-minute time frame. On the 3-minute time frame, not really. So let's see the 1-minute time frame, right? Okay, I think so there's a variation pattern here that was formed. If you had seen this, you could have been in this buy. This is a clean variation pattern, which could have entered the market through, right? And then just enter this buy. For now, we're just going to keep watching for variation patterns to be formed on USD CAD. But remember, when it comes to USD CAD, we also want to analyze US oil to see what US oil is doing, because the Canadian economy is heavily dependent on oil exportation and importation, right? So when we look at US oil, it gives us an idea of of how strong or weak the Canadian economy is. So ideally, we want to see US oil bearish when USD CAD is bullish, because this now makes us believe that the Canadian currency is weak and the USD, the dollar is strong compared to the Canadian currency. And so we can buy the USD CAD comfortably because US oil is bearish. So let's see what US oil is doing. Now, this guy is also forming structures to the upside, right? Following our most recent swing, it's bearish. But when you come on your daily time frame, you see consecutive structures being formed to the upside. Where is the next POI for US oil? Where is the next point of interest for this guy? It could be here. We trade all the way in here and then reverse. Let's use our line charts to get a clearer picture. Sorry, I'm just going to have to shift this guy. Okay. So let's see how, okay, you see this level here. Just a tip, when you want to mark resistance levels, you could use your line chart and look for A's or V's. That gives you a clearer picture of where structure was turned. So you see we have a clear A here. And then this is our next POI. We're expecting if US oil takes out this level and keeps buying, then we would want to really understand what's going on as regarding the USD CAD, right? But if it doesn't break above this resistance and comes to trade all the way in here and breaks this level, then we know that our USD CAD buy is on point, right? So for now, we could decide to wait to see if USD CAD respects the resistance level here, breaks below, trades below it, takes out this level, retests this level, and then continues to form structures to the downside. If US oil does that, our buyers, our bullish buyers for the USD card is going to be even stronger, right? It's going to be even stronger. Now let's check out Forex Factory briefly to see what that guy is doing. Let's see. Let's check favors as well. Or you could decide to use market milk. The lowest we can go here, I think, is daily time frame. So what do we see? Now, the daily time frame wise, we see that the dollar is strong. NZD, AUD are also weak. They are weak to the downside. We support our bearish buyers, bearish analysis that we ran through, right, on the AUD and the NZD USD. But let's check the 1 hour time frame to see what the market is currently doing. And with that, we look at market milk currency strength to check our 1 hour time frame for immediate price action. Are we together? Am I talking to myself? Please let me know in the chat box. Are you following this analysis? All right, thank you. All right. So on the 1 hour time frame of AUD and NZD, we see that these guys are strong, right? These guys are strong and the dollar is weak. Following the 1 hour entry pattern, which we analyzed, following this, price have already entered the NZD USD point of interest. Price is very close to the AUD POI for us to start to buy AUD and NZD, which is in correlation with what we're currently seeing. Regarding the Canadian dollar, it is stuck in the middle, right? It's strong-ish and weakish. It's just there in the middle. So we want to see US oil give a clear direction for us to comfortably buy USD card. For now, on the market milk currency strength meter, it's not really showing a lot of information. It's just stuck in the middle, right? It is just stuck in the middle. So our market milk shows us, it gives us more buyers for the AUD and the NZD trade. Now let's also look at Forex Factory to see the fundamental news we have coming out today. Fundamental. Sorry, look at me typing fundamental instead of Forex Factory. Forex Factory. I think there are 2 news releases coming out for AUD today. I think RBA rate statement and cash rate. These are both are impact. For you to understand what this means, we just click on this icon here, and it shows you what it measures. The interest rate charged on overnight loans between financial intermediaries. And the effect is, when you see this news release greater than what was forecasted, then it is good for the currency. And this guy already came out the exact same way. It was forecasted to come out at 4.35%, and it came out at 4.35%, right? Which is good for the AUD currency, which supports our bull move even more, right? We support our bull move even more. So that's pretty much it for the commodity currency pairs. That's pretty much it. Right, okay. Do you mean the US oil? Ejimi. Do you mean the US oil? Please let me know quickly so my colleague can come and give us an analysis on the market milk for currencies. Oh, wow, I didn't even notice. Thank you for bringing it out to my attention. Let me see. It's the 1 hour. I don't think you saw it. It's the 1 hour. We looked at the 1 hour, not the 1 day. All right, so if you have any questions, this will be the perfect opportunity to ask me before my colleague comes on to analyze the other pairs. Let me know if you have any questions. If you would like to take part of the exact entry and exit for the AUD USD trade, which you're looking at, just send a DM to Value Flow Trading. We're going to run you through. It's 3 easy steps. Open an account with our broker, Okta. 1. 2, you fund your account, send us proof, and that is pretty much it. You'll be added to the group where you have access to our entry, SL, and TP, right? Okay, now if there are no questions, I'm going to call on my colleague to come and analyze the next pair. I believe this was really valuable to us. Was it valuable? Please let me know if it was. Did this help anybody? Did this help anybody? All right. All right then. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Welcome back to the market column this morning for the London session. That was a very great one from Abigail. And right now we'll be going straight into analyzing the precious metal, gold to be specific. And as she has said earlier, you need to share the link with your friends, your colleagues, everyone you know who have interest in trading or who is trading. Share the link with them so that they too can benefit from this. Don't just enjoy it alone as we go deeply into the analysis for the precious metal. Now, currently on the precious metal, we've seen that for the past few days now, right from the 14th of February to date, the precious metal has been very, very bullish all the way to the upside, where it seeks a new high around the 2193.6 level. And since then, which was the 8th of March 2024, it began to rally back, pull back all the way to the downside again. But what we are seeing is not yet a very clean move to the downside. However, we still expect more pullback to the downside on the precious metal. Now, if you look at it on the 4-hour time frame, are we seeing a very clear break of market structure? All we've been seeing there is that's just been forming some level of support here. You can see this level forming a very strong support here. But early hours of yesterday, we could see how this candle closed below this level here and price broke out of it again. So this may just be a grab of liquidity, but what price is forming here now is more of a bullish flag again, but we don't know and we can't say where exactly it's going to. However, in this little space, we can just be scalping. When you see your sell signature, you take it. When you see your buy signature, you take that one for a long while. Right. Now, yesterday during the New York session, we analyzed how the precious metal should sell from around the 21.61 level yesterday. If you look at it yesterday around the New York session, yes, this was around this place. So we are looking for to sell from this level all the way to this place, and the sell position is still there, just sitting right there. You see, that's where price just, and our SI is around at the top of this level, 21.64.5 at the top of this high. How do we take that particular entry? You are going to see it on the 5-minute time frame when we see yesterday that price actually has broken out of the range. Can you see it now? This is it. We call this our shoulder, we call this our sweep, and we've seen a forceful break to the downside. And we are expecting price to come all the way into this shoulder here, this last level here. And I believe someone can see that from your end too. So this is what we've been expecting since yesterday, for price to come all the way into this level here. So in the course of the TDA yesterday, we've been expecting, we put our pending order around this level, 21.61. And the reason why we did that, if you stream it down to the lower time frame, again, you are going to see where there is the fair value gap correlating with this shoulder at the 3-minute time frame. So that's why we've been looking to sell. And around yesterday night, to see our price, triggered our order and started coming down. So where are we targeting price to go to is to come and clear this yesterday low. That is what we are looking at price to do, but it's still sitting in between the whole move. All right. So that is for gold right now. And looking forward to this move on gold, like we said earlier, if you are selling, it's just going to be a short sell. But if you are buying, you can look forward to take a very long position because the overall trend still remains bullish. All right, so that is that for the precious metal. Now let's quickly take a look at the yen pair, the JPY basket. Now it was a good news for the JPY basket as the interest rate is being released early hours of today, and we could see from the negative side of it, we could see what happened. Let's quickly take a look at the Forex Live, and you're going to see what actually happened on the interest rate, the yen interest rate for the day. This is BOJ. You see from minus 1.0% to plus 0.1%. Now that sounds more like a good news for the yen. Yeah, the yen basket, that's a strong yen. We expect a strong yen for the interest rate to be increased right from negative all of a sudden into the positive zone. Expect, okay, maybe, value will move now into the yen basket. We expect the bullish yen basket. All right, so let's take a look at it on the chart. What was the reaction after the release of the news? Well, it was so surprising that after the release of the news, with the good news, seemingly good news, we could see again that the yen basket still tanked all the way to the downside. That sounds so weird, but we know reason why that is happening. Why? Because we've seen probably those who are actually selling wants to quickly take profit around this level. So we can see how price came and tap liquidity. There's liquidity below here. So the big banks may just want to play this level, then resume the move all the way to the upside. At the same time, we know that everybody's eyes, including yours and mine, our eyes has been on JPY just to see if there is a positive news for the interest rate, we want to start shorting it, but it's not instantly. So that may be just a minor trap for those who, okay, the moment they just see the interest rate, come out positive, they start, buying the yen versus every other thing and just want to trap them first before the real show begins. Now, let's see what is going to happen today on the yen basket. Looking fully well that we know, there is this particular level here when this change of character happens to the upside. We are suspecting this low since it creates this long liquidity here for it to move all the way to the upside. But let's see what will still happen there, and we can see what price did around this level. So the moment we begin to see structure on the yen basket to the upside, then we can easily follow it to the upside, knowing fully well that value will move into the yen basket because of that increase in interest rate. But let's see what would happen with it, knowing that it's also a safe haven, the JPY. Now, in relating that to the GBP, we are going to see, remember, sometimes last week we said where GBP actually is still trying to sit, still at the very top there. Let's see it on the monthly time frame. I think we mark that good. We mark it on the monthly time frame. See this liquidity at the top here. That seems to be where GBP is trying to target. And if you look at it now, this seems, yes, this is another block where we can see price react from, or price even coming to clear this particular high. And if that is going to happen, it may just be a news on GBP that's going to just spike and deliver that objective. just price to clear this particular. So let's be mindful of this high, even if we are looking to sell anything JPY currently. But let's be mindful of this high. You can see GBP just spike up to clear this particular level. And it's not a big thing that much for it to do. It's just about 600 pips or so for it to move that way all the way to clear this particular level. So that is for the weekly, the monthly time frame. And at the same time, that particular level, this is a liquidity resting above here. And we are seeing again some, this another flip zone at this particular level, which price first reacted to at this point, sometimes 2015, and price is seeking it again in 2024. So we can see price may clear this level, then turn this to be the flip zone and return back to the downside. So that is our expectation for GJ. Now, if you look at it on the 4-hour time frame, you are going to see that it's still, in between that level. So there's still high tendency for price just to come and clear this particular high, or when we begin to see structure to the downside, then we can easily follow it all the way to the downside. Now, if you look at it on the 1-hour time frame, what are we seeing on the 1-hour time frame? We are going to see on the 1-hour time frame, we see that yes, we have a market structure shift above here. And remember, this is almost the same thing we are seeing on the yen basket on daily time frame. This equal low, building enough of liquidity below here. So we still expect the GJ to also tank and come and clear that level. But looking at this particular high on the daily time frame, you can see what is going on there, right? So there is liquidity resting above these levels here, of which GJ can just do just a single swing to the upside just to clear all that level. So take note of that. And remember, if you did not see your entry signature, then don't enter anything until you see your entry signature. That is when you enter and execute as expected. So that will be for the yen basket today. If there's any question, can easily ask us. Let me know in the chat box so that I can attend to it as fast as possible. Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. David Enwerem is asking for gold. Good morning, David. I think you just joined late because Lekon just finished analyzing gold. So sorry about that. You may have to just wait till tomorrow's analysis. With regard to the BOJ, it's a very, very historic move. The Bank of Japan has finally said they want to gradually increase rates. Emphasis on the word gradually. Let's not take us to Forex Live. You took us to Forex Factory, not Forex Live. So Forex Factory tells you the figures, the numbers, but Forex Live gives you their commentary, their opinion on it. This will be the first time in 17 years, the first time in 17 years that the Bank of Japan is increasing interest rates. It puts an end to Abenomics. Abenomics. All right, so see some of the reports there. BOJ arranging to end negative interest rate policy next week. Do you see why the market didn't respond immediately? So let's open on that. So he's saying next week. Next week. Now you need to understand that for Japan to be offering positive interest rates for the first time in 17 years, that's a big deal. Meaning before now, if you were investing anything into the Japanese yen in terms of yield, you were getting no. BOJ was very unexpected. It wasn't. David, why did you say it was very unexpected? It wasn't very unexpected. In fact, people have been sensing that it would happen because you can't have negative interest rates forever when other countries were hiking rates, it would have made the carry trade an obvious play. And the yen itself has really, really got into a place where if you pull up a weekly chart of the yen, okay, let's read the report first. Let's do it one by one. Let's do it one by one. Let's read the report. David said it's unexpected. Let's read what people are saying. The BOJ is arranging to end negative interest rates, and the market has been burned by BOJ leaks that turned out to be false in the past few months. But there's so much smoke around this one that I'm having a hard time believing they won't pull the trigger. Scroll down. It dipped around 25 pips on this headline. Let's see other. You can see other news headlines. Something I do usually when someone writes an article, I go and look for that person online if he has a Twitter account or something, so I can be following updates. So this particular news that we read was given by, okay, that's still Japan. Ueda is the finance minister for Japan, the minister of finance, different from the central bank governor. It's a different one. So scroll down some more. Let's look for news that came out at the time of the announcement. We are at a phase where, okay, sorry, Ueda is the Bank of Japan governor. We're at a phase where we can slowly proceed with possible rate hikes. Slowly proceed with possible rate hikes. Scroll down. Some of you should go and read that later at your own convenience so we don't spend too much time. The pace of further rate hikes depends on the economic price outlook. You can see all this news. We will carry out regular monetary policy. So something is changing on the yen. Something is changing on the yen. Let's see if we can still scroll up. Scroll up. All right. QQE policy framework of negative rates, yield curve control has fulfilled its role. YCC means yield curve control. So yield curve control has fulfilled its role. So we will look at that too. So with regard to the yield, remember they are saying yield curve control. Which instrument is most sensitive to yield? Who can tell us? Which financial asset class is most sensitive to yield? Is it equities? Is it bonds? Is it currencies? Which one is most sensitive to yield? Because that's what will let us know when the reversal on the yen basket will take place. The instrument that is most sensitive are bonds. So when we see a divergence, when we see bonds correcting, then we know that the market is starting to believe the possibility of an interest rate hike. Please show me yen basket on TradingView daily. Yen basket on TradingView. So we can know when this correction will start to likely or possibly happen. When this correction will likely happen. All right. Okay, let's see it on weekly. All right. So there's that low there. And if truly we start to see the market believing this, because mind you, they have moved from 0 to positive, but it doesn't mean that the interest on it is higher than the interest on other pairs. So it doesn't mean people will just jump out immediately. If US interest rate is higher than Japanese yen interest rate, you are not going to leave a currency pair that was giving you negative interest rates and another one that was giving you positive interest rates. The negative one has now switched to positive, but the differential has to be significant before you make the move. Is this making sense or is not making sense? Somebody that was giving you 0 now says they'll give you 1 basis point, but there's another person that has been giving you 2 basis points, you will still maintain that relationship. If that other person that has given you 2 basis points now reduces what is giving you to 1, then gradually you start rotating out. So this thing will not happen immediately, but we'll be watching the market gradually. If the US does a rate cut or other currencies start to do rate cuts, as Japanese yen is doing rate hike gradually, you will now see that gradual correction as people look for yield. Is this making sense so far? Something that has been going on for 17 years will not change overnight, all right? So that's the first thing I want us to take cognizance of. When will I enter my yen basket play? When the bonds, global bonds, reflect this decision. That means value will now be moving from those bonds into the yen. Why? Because people are now looking for yield. And Japanese Bank of Japan is now starting to increase interest rates and thus increase yield. That's the first thing, okay? That's the first thing. Now, apart from that, let's see this on 4 hours. We have already seen a move to the upside. Okay, let's see this on 4 hours. Okay. Now, on the 4 hour, what are we seeing? Mark that level where there's liquidity. We are seeing triple bottom. Triple bottom. Exactly. So, and then under the triple bottom, we are seeing a fair value gap. We're seeing a fair value gap. That's the fair value gap right there. So, as you are watching the yen pairs, pay attention to the yen basket. If we see a tap of zoom out so we can see the structure. We're only seeing zoom out some more. No, not in, zoom out, make it bigger. As in let's see more. I want to see more candles. I want to see more of the past price action. More of the past price action. Okay, fantastic. So do you see what has happened now? What do we see there? Price broke to the upside. Broke to the upside. Kept breaking, kept breaking, kept breaking. And then came back down with force to mitigate. So if it mitigates and goes back to break, where are the possible places that we're looking at that price should not break above? So draw the fair value gap, around 66.80. There's a fair value gap at 66.80. 66.80. Yes, that's a fair value gap, right? That's a fair value gap. Please, you take a screenshot of this schematic. That's a fair value gap afterwards. So that's a shoulder there. And that's a sweep before the fair value gap was created. That's the left shoulder. That's the sweep. That's a break of structure to the downside. So where do we expect price to return to if we are selling? Remember, I'm talking about a buy because of interest rate increase. But if we are selling, price should get to 66.80. And what should it do at 66.80? Who can tell me what price should do at 66.80? At 66.80, price should tap into that fair value gap and start coming down. So if that sales schematic fails at 66.80, that means that the buy is now in force and market is starting to demand for the yen. So these are the 2 scenarios I'm looking at. These are the 2 scenarios I'm looking at. Remember, if a box pattern schematic fails, that means the failure will cause the start of a new trend. All right, so this is what I'm looking at on the yen pairs. I'm still looking for what to pair it with. What to pair it with. And when that time comes, when price gets close to any of these levels, we'll know what to do. So that's what my take for this time around. I'm waiting for 2 things: for bonds to start to rally. And when bonds start rallying, I'm waiting for that particular schematic of the sell to be broken, for it to fail, for the sellers to fail and lose control, and then the buyers will take it back up. Then I'll now move to my yen pairs and see which one I want to trade versus the yen. All right, guys, of course, the one you should look out for is the one that has the lowest interest rate, that immediately it reverses, it can start giving yield. All right, then. Over to you on the floor. What I said, does it make sense? Let me see your comments. Let's know whether what I said makes sense. If it doesn't, as priced, take a screenshot of that schematic, please. Take a screenshot of that schematic so that I'll make reference to it. All right, then. Thank you very much. Over to you, Leko, and the guys on the floor. Cheers. God bless.
All right, guys. All right, this will be the end of today's top-down analysis. Remember, our courses are still very much available. We have the ATM cash flow starting tomorrow, and the registration is closing today. If you still want to join, quickly make the necessary steps, take the necessary steps by reaching out to us on our WhatsApp line or on any of our social media handles as the registration closes today. And remember, by 3 p.m., we are going to come back again to see what has the market done during the New York session. So we are going to have the New York session market color. So we'll be expecting you. Make sure you share the links with every of your trader friends as much as possible. See you by 3 p.m. Cheers and God bless.